Hello. Today we are spending 3 minutes with Bob Williams, Executive Director of Windsor Pride Community. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you very much.
For those of us who don't know, can you tell us a little bit about Windsor Pride Run for Rocky?
I certainly can. This is the 5th year of the Windsor Pride Run for Rocky. And Rocky is Rockwell Campana, who passed by suicide at a very early age in his early 20s, and was born and raised here in LaSalle, and went to Sandwich High School, and decided that he wanted to come out to his parents, Rob and Nancy Campana, and he did at 17. And to his teachers and his schoolmates who supported 100% of his activity. Unfortunately, he was bullied, and some kind of depressions came in and out, and anxieties, and he moved on after graduation to Western University, where he became an overachiever, and he was the best at swimming and basketball and hockey and fundraising, and then he went on to the Ivy School of Business, and then from there he became assistant to the director of marketing for Procter & Gamble. In Toronto is where he took his life. That's why we have the Run for Rocky, is to raise funds for the gay-straight alliances in the high schools, and every high school, through the efforts of the board of directors and through the management, have a gay-straight alliance, as do many of the Catholic schools.
So how much money have you raised over the...
With this year, with some of the donations that are already in and the sponsorships, I believe we'll be well over $300,000 in total for the 5 years.
And the money goes to...
So what Nancy and Rob Campana, again, are a family, and they do have Connor and Kirsten, well, not really at home, they're both in college, but so their goal in their heart was to make life better for the LGBT plus community, and they wanted to make sure that there was funding so that those that might be at risk would be able to help find some housing or help with care, or be able to have speakers, or be able to attend conferences. And so the money, every school that has a Gay-Straight Alliance, through their principal, can apply for a grant up to $750. And that fund goes directly into putting library shelves together of books, or bringing in a keynote speaker to a session. And also we give, depending on the year or the applications, anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 in scholarships, so that the continuation of education is there, so those that really can't afford it can go on to higher education, to colleges and universities.
So how do you feel it's changed the awareness for the LGBT youth community, this event?
Well, and that's a very interesting question, as I'm sitting here looking at you as a young person. It's intriguing to me to see the youth who have almost said to us old folks, get out of my way, we know where we're going, we have a handle on it, we understand it. It is sometimes the parents or the grandparents that are, I don't want to call them obstacles, but don't have the right information, or are not educated to know how to deal with those things, the circumstances. And so I would say to you that the conversation is at a much higher level than it ever was, and that youth are more aware of themselves today. They're much stronger than they were even 5 years ago. And I see the youth taking hold and educating families and so on. And so I see a broader reach out there in the community, and that also makes the center busier than we ever thought it ever would be.
Mm-hmm. So this is the final year for Run for Rocky. Why is that?
Well, let me say to you, again, it's a very good question. Nancy and Rob Campana, immediately following the death of their son, and I will mention to you that almost 1,000 people attended the funeral, which was in the auditorium at the Chrysler Theater at St. Clair Center for the Arts. I'm not sure that Nancy and Rob have really had the moment where they could really share the death of their son. And so they've continued and they've continued and they sat on committees and they've done so many things. And so it's time to pull back, relax, and let this year be the 5th and final run for Rocky with Nancy and Rob and the family. Where we will go from here, through the Pride Community Center, I don't know. We will never forget Rocky Campana and the Campanas in anything that we do, as long as we have their continued support. And I believe that they're there.
Nice. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank
for
you,
telling
Michelle,
us,
very much.
Making us aware. That's been 3 Minutes with Bob Williams. I'm Michelle Lerman.